Welcome to Teaching at Frugal. My name is Amy. I am a 12th year teacher here in Arizona. And along the way in those 12 years, I have picked up some different tips and tricks to keep my teaching frugal. Now, as everybody knows, teachers do not make a whole lot of money. So we have to be very frugal with what we're putting into our classrooms, what we're spending. Federally, we only get $250 as a credit on our taxes. So we're going to try and keep everything as low cost as humanly possible. So I have 10 tips for you to keep things frugal in your classroom. So jumping right in, number one is clean your classroom. You have no idea the amount of things that I found last year. I had to move my classroom twice, once in the middle of the year, right around Christmas, and once at the end of the year because I was moving to a new position. And when I did all that, all of the things that you accumulate over the years that got shoved in a book closet or put over here underneath of this pile of things or got put into an office someplace, you're going to rediscover those and go, oh, I have 3 posters on how to wash your hands that go above my sink. I have 4 posters that have the Pledge of Allegiance on them. I have 18 bins for organization that I never used because they were the wrong color. Whatever it happens to be, you will be amazed at the amount of things that you find. Number 2, don't buy what your school already provides. Now, I am very fortunate. I teach at a school that provides actually quite a bit of the materials that we need. We don't have to buy our own paper. We don't have to buy our own pencils. They provide everybody an electric pencil sharpener, pens for grading. They give the kids a kind of plasticky 2-pocket folder for homework. So we don't have to supply those either. And most of the time, there is some type of supply closet at your school. So if you're not sure what your school provides, ask them first before you start putting it on your to-do list to pick up at the grocery store or the next teacher store that you go to. Number 3, along those same lines, ask your secretary, because let's be real, they're the ones that run the school. Ask your secretary if there is an allotted amount of money for teachers to order things. I didn't know until probably my 5th or 7th year teaching that we had a budget for teachers and that we could go up and ask for things. And the only reason I found out was our secretary, I'd gotten pretty close with her, and she had ordered me a set of Eric Carle cards for my kindergarten class. And I'm like, well, where did these come from? You didn't have to buy this for me. And she's like, oh no, it came out of the school budget. And I went, there's a school budget? So check with your secretary so you don't fall into the same trap I did and you end up purchasing things that the school will provide. Now that might mean it has to go through the warehouse first, or there has to be a PO attached to it, or you have to wait until there's a certain dollar amount, or only certain things can be purchased because it's only for this category. But ask. The worst thing they're going to do is tell you, no, if you want that, it has to come out of your own pocket. But ask first. 4th thing is check Goodwill for items. And I live in a place that's pretty rural. We're about 3 hours from anywhere. We still have a Goodwill. We actually have 2. You're going to find thrift stores all over the place. Some of them are through the church. Some of them are going to be through VA. Some of them could even be through a hospice or something to that effect. So check those stores. I have gotten baskets for organization. I've gotten books are turned in all the time. You can build up your classroom library that way. There's jars for organization. You can find a lot of stuff for like your treasure chest if you do a treasure chest in your room or treasure box. And then I actually found my teacher planner there last year for $1.25. Like the ones that you would buy on Amazon for, I don't buy the expensive ones. I buy the ones that are like $15, $20, no more than that. I love the big fancy ones, but I can't afford those. So that's usually my threshold is about $20 or less on a planner. And the one I was looking at, I found at Goodwill for $1.25, and it had unmarked pages in it. All the stickers were still in it. So take a look in your Goodwill or in your thrift stores that are near you and look through all that stuff before you hit the big box stores, because it's going to save you some money. The 5th thing, and I know we probably all do this anyway, watch for teacher appreciation days, case lot sales, back to school sales, and you're going case lot sales and not buying food. If you have little kids and you need snacks for snack time, And maybe you live in a socioeconomic area where the parents just can't really help. You have a couple options. Case lot sales are a really good way to get some of those items that you might get, graham crackers, goldfish, apple sauces, things that are shelf stable that you can buy cases of for pennies on the dollar. Another thing you can check along that line, I'm in charge of tutoring at my school. And the kids eat lunch, the little guys eat lunch pretty early in the day. They eat at like 10:45, 11 o'clock, and then they're there until after 4 p.m. So they're starving by the time we get to tutoring. Well, because of COVID and because we do live in a low socioeconomic area, all of our kids have free breakfast and lunch. So they get we call them go bags, but they get a bag that has like a chocolate milk or a white milk in it, a juice, a piece of fruit of some variety, and usually some type of non-perishable something to go with it. Donuts, granola bar, what have you. Well, sometimes in the morning when the kids get dropped off, they're not hungry, they don't want it, whatever. We collect those, and then we got permission from the lady that got the grant for us. Since it was still going to the kids after school, we got permission to go ahead and distribute that out to our tutoring kids after school. And then we don't have to pay anything out of our own pocket for tutoring snacks. Now, are they getting the same things that they got for breakfast? Yes, they are. But as my mama used to say, if they're hungry, they'll eat it. So that's another option for you. So make sure you're asking the right people, check your case lot sales. Staples has a teacher appreciation day at least once a year. Walmart usually has one. Keep your eye out for those because it's a good way to get a free ream of paper or a little planner or some pencils and that type of thing. It won't get you a lot, but it would have quite a bit. And then of course, back to school sales are going to be when everything goes on sale. My family lives in Missouri, even though I'm in Arizona. My mom usually finds like cases of pencil boxes for 10 cents each, and she'll pick up just boxes of those and then ship them to me. Our Kmart, I know Kmart, right? Our Kmart went out of business here in town. I went in as they were leaving and they had composition notebooks for 15 cents each. I took every single one they had. Okay, so the sixth thing, which is the hardest, is set a budget for the year and stick to it. We know as educators, we only get a $250 credit through the US government for all the money that we put into our classrooms. Most of the time, we're going to put in a whole lot more than that when you count Christmas, classroom parties, ink for the printers, extra pencils, stuff for birthdays, little incidental things along the way. It adds up and in a hurry. My budget for my classroom, I try to stick to the $250. That doesn't always happen, but that's the goal. And then some years I don't use it all because I'll find things in my classroom that I either forgot I had or will have a teacher leave and they'll just put a bunch of stuff out in the teacher workroom and they'll say, take your pick, and I'll find something that I need from there. And then I don't have to go to the store and pick up those things that were originally on my list. Which goes into number 7 is ask your fellow teachers first. We are a community. We help each other out as much as we can. At least that's the environment that I've worked in, is we're all kind of one big family. And if you say, hey, I'm looking for this, do you happen to have an extra one? 9 times out of 10, you have at least one teacher in that building that's a hoarder, at least one, at minimum. And they're going to go, oh yeah, I have 16 sitting right here. Here's one, or however many you need, or what have you. So check with your fellow teachers. Number 8 is start early and make a list. From the very beginning of the year, I put one of those magnetic lists on the side of my file cabinet on my desk. And as I think of things that, oh, it would be nice to have this next year. Oh, it would be nice to get this other thing. Or, oh, I would kind of want this thing for over here. I add it to my list. Organizational things, if I want more expo markers, things of that nature. So you make your list. And then at the end of the year is when I do all of my shopping. At the end of the school year, going into the next school year, so over the summer. I look at my list and I do all of the other things that I mentioned to you already. I check my classroom, clean that up, make sure that I don't have something that's on my list lurking in a corner. I've talked to other people, I've looked for sales, and then if it's still on the list, then I go purchase it. Number 9 is to reuse and repurpose items in your home. I have a 9-year-old daughter, soon to be 10, and she is starting to outgrow some things, both in her clothes and her toys and some of the furniture in her room. We had a cubby situation that had held like 6 cubbies. And she got too big for it. Mom, this is baby furniture. I don't want this anymore. I took it to school. They're great for gifts too. I do canning at home. I can my own jams just because I'm not domesticated and boring. But because of that, I have a lot of mason jars laying around. I like mason jars, clearly. And for my birthday, my husband took one of my mason jars and some acrylic paint that I had, and he swirled it around the inside and he painted it my favorite color, purple. And then he knows that I love daisies, but that I can't keep anything alive. So he went to the store and he bought one of those like $1 fake bushels of daisies, and he put it inside the mason jar, and that was my birthday present, and I still have it on my desk at school to this day. It's one of my favorite things. We also save random things around the house. I have protein powder containers that I put pink erasers in. I have another container for used pencils. I have another one for used crayons. And it's like leftover mayonnaise jars or pickle jars, small things that you would normally just throw away. So you can find a purpose for them in your room instead of buying a container to put it in instead. And then the very last thing is don't buy anything without a plan. You walk into Target, you know what I'm going to say. You walk into Target and you see all that glorious $1 spot stuff just sitting there. Beautiful. And you go, oh, this is cute, but I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to get it anyway. And then your budget's gone before you know it. Have a plan for what you buy. I'm not saying don't buy the cute stuff. I'm saying only buy the cute stuff if there is a plan. If you find a really cute border and you know exactly what bulletin board it's going to go on, great, get it. Pick it up if you can swing it. If you find that same border and you're like, well, I already have this one on this bulletin board and this border on this other bulletin board, and I have this Dr. Seuss one over here already for this Dr. Seuss bulletin board. So I don't really know where I would put it, but I really like it. Unless you have a plan for where it is going to go in your room and you know that it's going to serve you and your students well, do not pick it up. So those are my 10 frugal Those are my 10 frugal tips for trying to keep costs down in your classroom. Remember, the kids that we teach, they don't need your money. They just need you.